Hi all, welcome to GAMTpedia. This is Dr. Karthik, and this is part 2 of the 5-part series on GAMT learning framework, and we're going to start right after where we left in part 1. So if you haven't watched part 1 before, I'd encourage you to have a look at that before proceeding further. Okay, let's start. So that's the GAMT learning framework. So if you can remember this, you've actually captured all the important concepts that you need to know about the GAMT learning framework. So the first one which I have is called the overview and figures. So this, the hole in the tree, resembles the letter O, which stands for overview, and the small X here resembles the letter F, stands for figures. So that's the first thing you do. So when you're sitting down to read a topic, you go through the whole topic, brief overview, need to know how big the topic is, need to know the contents of the topic. It's also important to gather all the figures related to the topic. If the topic that you're going to learn doesn't have any figures or tables, I probably encourage you to go to Google search, type the particular topic and look under the images section. You're definitely going to find a lot of images that's relevant to the topic, and it's nice to kind of have them in one place. Once you have an overview, so go through the topic, and then you create a GAMT. So that's where the GAMT comes from. What you do in GAMT is you generate keywords from a topic and use the first letter of the keywords to generate a GAMT. So once you have a good overview, have the figures in place, and you have generated a GAMT, you're in a very good position to jump into the GAMT learning framework. From here on, the learning happens in zones. So there's no particular order that you need to go. So you can go from one zone to the other zone. There isn't any limitation to that. The next zone we're going to look into is the why question zone. So the why question zone is a very important zone in the learning framework. This is where you ask all the relevant questions: the why, when, what, where, how, etc. You don't limit yourself. Just ask anything that comes to your mind about the particular topic. The important thing is to ask as many questions as possible. The more questions you ask, the more deeper you're going to dig into the topic, the more deeper your understanding of the topic is going to be. A lot of times you might find the answers in the text or the source material that you're reading the topic from. If you don't find the answers, you can always go to ChatGPT. The AI tools, ChatGPT for example, along with the GAMT learning framework, creates a very powerful tool which allows you to effortlessly apply the principles of deep learning to any topic that you want to learn. After the why question zone, you can go to what's called the compare and the contrast zone. So this is C, this is another C. So in this zone, you need to ask a lot of compare and contrast questions. So this compare and contrast zone is very, very important. It provides you the contextual information that you need to have an in-depth knowledge about the topic. The next zone you go is what you call association zone. As the name implies, this is a number of A's joined together, and that stands for association. The association zone, as the name implies, is where you create associations from the topic. The association can be within the topic, can be between topics, or between subjects. Associations can also be personal, based on your day-to-day experiences, your past experience or potential future experience, friends and family, and also the bigger picture as well. The aim is to create as many associations as possible to the topic that you're reading. As you know, the brain remembers by association. The more you associate stuff, the longer you can retain them. Okay. The next zone you're going to go is the past exam question zone. So I created this as a separate zone because anybody who's prepared for high-stakes examination realizes how important it is to do the past exam questions. Some of the experts in education even go to the level of saying that even before you read a topic or before you read a subject, you need to look at the past exam questions. That gives you an understanding of what's expected out of you, what type of questions are you going to get, and is one of the very strong differentiators between high scoring students versus regular students. So past exam questions is a separate zone on its own. You need to spend time in that zone whenever you're reading a topic. Okay. Again, you can use ChatGPT for that. Now, don't worry too much about this. The next video, I'm going to take an example. I'm going to take a topic, and I'm going to apply this GAMT learning framework to the topic so you exactly understand what I mean and how to do it. Okay. The next zone is applying the knowledge zone. This zone again is very important. There are two categories here. One is internal, other is external. So what is internal? What is external? Internal is stuff that you can do that's under your control mostly, and external are the stuff that's beyond your control. That pertains to applying the knowledge that you learned. Internal includes problem-based learning and teaching others. Now, problem-based learning is basically you read about a topic and you solve some problem-based questions from the topic. And teaching others is again, doesn't strictly come under applying the knowledge category, but it's very, very important. In a way, you're applying your knowledge with teaching others. You can argue for that, but this is where teaching others stay. And then you have the external applying knowledge category, where you have simulation and real life experience. Simulation is where you go to your simulator environment and you apply the learned knowledge and solve the problems. This happens a lot in airline industry, in anesthesiology, and a lot in medicine. And in real life, of course, is where you get the maximum benefit of retention and long-term retention of the knowledge. Now, the last zone that you're going to go is the research and innovation zone. So that's R, that's I, R and I. So that stands for research and innovation. So I think I forgot to mention this. This resembles letter P, stands for past exam questions. Okay. So what is research and innovation zone? So this is a zone where you're going to ask questions about what type of research can I do in this topic. You know, what are the possible innovations that one can do? What are possible potential opportunities for business, right? So you can ask all these questions that will stimulate your interest further in the particular topic. Again, you can use ChatGPT for this. If you look at the overall picture of this GAMT learning framework, it looks very simple, but at the same time, once you start using it, you very quickly can realize how easily it facilitates the transfer of deep learning skills into your everyday learning. When you combine this with the ChatGPT, you're going to get phenomenal results. Just very briefly, you have the overview. The O here stands for the overview. The F here stands for the figures. Then you're going to generate the GAMT. You're going to ask a lot of why, what, when, where questions. And then you're going to compare and contrast. You're going to create some associations to the topic. You're going to look at the past exam questions. You're going to apply the knowledge that you learned. And you're going to go into the zone of research and innovation. The aim is to spend some time in each of these zones when you read any topic. Once you read a topic, create a GAMT and then spend some time in each of these zones. I can guarantee you, your learning is going to be much deeper than the majority of the students who learn the particular topic. So in the next video, I'm going to take a topic and I'm going to apply this GAMT learning framework and show you how exactly it's done. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.